All right, Vanguard funds, VASGX versus VFINX, part 2, my friends. Part dos, as we like to say here in South Texas. You know I'm no longer in South Texas. I'm in North Fulton County, Georgia. So got a lot of exciting stuff to talk about. As you can see, my Christmas lights back here, green and red. Merry Christmas! So join me by subscribing down below. Of course, thumbs up, comments, the whole thing helps a lot. So let me get back in where we left off. So before, we're doing the VASGX, which is the Vanguard Life Strategy Growth Fund, which essentially is the simplest fund. It's the fund you should use for your proxy. Not saying you should invest in it, but it's about 70% stocks, 30% bonds, all inclusive of 4 funds. The Vanguard Total Stock Market Index, the Vanguard Total International Stock Index, the Vanguard Total Bond Market Index, and the Vanguard Total International Bond Index. Literally that simple. It's automatically diversified, automatically rebalanced. You don't have to do anything. If you had one fund to choose, you're not getting an argument from me that that's the one to choose. It's about 11 basis points is the fee. Incredibly simple. Keep it simple, stupid. Just set it and forget it. Be done. But the question that came to me via the channel was, what about a VFINX, the Vanguard S&P 500? And VFINX is literally the largest 500 companies in the U.S. It's not on any given day. They usually, I think, make 4 or 5 transitions a year where they add a constituent, throw one out, add a constituent, throw one out. The S&P, the Standards & Poor committee, they're the ones who make those choices. So if you happen one day to say, oh, this stock has a higher market capitalization than that stock, why is it not in the S&P 500? It may well be soon, but they don't do it immediately. So remember, what market capitalization simply means is you take the number of shares outstanding times that by the price per share. So I don't have, there's my calculator. I'll give an example. You got Josh Incorporated, your old buddy Josh Incorporated. He's got 100 shares outstanding. Each share is at $100. 100 times 100 is $10,000. How do I know that? Because I just did this and I deleted this video because I forgot 2005 numbers. Urgh! So I could come back telling you, my friends, being a YouTube guy, it sounds fun, but there is some issues you got to work with. I did a 12-minute video until I got down here. I said, oh, I forgot a number. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. No big deal. I still like it. So Josh Incorporated, 100 shares outstanding. Each share is $100. That's $10,000. That's my market capitalization. Now, what happens if I say, you know, I want to increase my market capitalization? Thus, I'm going to issue more shares because old Josh said my market capitalization is 100 number of market shares outstanding times price per share. Well, if I increase my market shares outstanding, the number of shares available, I should be able to increase my market cap, right? No, sirree, Bob, it doesn't work like that. If I have 100 shares outstanding and I issue another 100 shares, now I have 200 shares outstanding. What happens to the price of those shares? They drop by half. So you get because I have 100 shares outstanding, $100 per share. My market cap is $10,000. 200 shares outstanding now. My price per share will drop to $50 a share. My market cap remains at $10,000. 500 shares outstanding, the price per share will drop to 20. My market cap remains at $200 or at $10,000. So I hear all the time, oh, they're doing a stock split. I'm going to buy because I can make money. No, you can't. The only reason you can make money is because sometimes they do a stock split and people think inherently and not intuitively that, oh, the price is cheaper. That must mean it's a better deal. No, the price of the stock isn't anything relative to the value of the stock you're buying. That's speculation, my friends. When a company does a stock split, which is what I just said would happen, I issue 100 more shares. I got 100 shares at $100 per share. I'm going to do a stock split, a 2-for-1 split. That means for every share, you have 2 now. Now I have 200 shares outstanding. The price doesn't stay at 100. The price drops. It's literally that simple. Or a reverse stock split, i.e. a buyback. I got 100 shares outstanding. Now I got 100 shares, $100 per share. I'm going to do a reverse stock split. I'm going to buy a share for everyone you have outstanding. Now I got 50 shares outstanding. Does my price per share stay at 100? No, it goes up to 200. The market cap, this big thing over here, always stays the same. Market cap stays the same. Price changes, number of shares change. The market cap will stay the same because that is what drives things. Now, the price can change on its own, don't get me wrong, but you can't manipulate it to change the market capitalization. You just can't do that. Now, I mean, there's always an exception to every rule. There are absolutely ways you can manipulate it to get a market cap in terms of we want to increase the share price to stay on the New York Stock Exchange. That's not manipulating the market cap. We want to, what else would they do? I guess we want to flood the market with shares to draw money. All you're going to do there is reduce the share price. I mean, it's just it's basic economics. Price goes up, market shares go up. Prices they go like that. It's just there's no other way around it in terms of market capitalization. So that's what the S&P 500 is. I hope that makes sense. It's simply the market capitalization of the top 500 companies in the United States, which can change 3 or 4 times a year. All right. So the VASGX is not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the VFINX. So secondly, the S&P 500 index, the VFINX, is just a Vanguard S&P 500 index. Fidelity has their own S&P 500 index. T. Rowe Price, USAA. Many firms out there have their own S&P 500 index. They will all give the same value. So all that you see here, if you have a different fund, the Fidelity Sparta S&P 500 index, it'll be almost identical to what you're seeing here. It's not exclusive to Vanguard in the least. It's just Vanguard's the first, so I use that as my proxy in this regard. However, if you have an S&P 500 index fund and it charges you, say, 50 basis points, that's 1/2 of 1%, you're going to get less than this. I guarantee you that, because this is, I think, Vanguard's like 5 basis points. I don't know. It's incredibly cheap. So if your S&P 500 index fund is charging you 50 basis points to manage, you're not going to get these numbers. It'll be worse by 45 basis points, because I'm charging 5 basis points. You're charging 50 basis points. We have the exact same holdings. You're going to underperform me by the increase of your fees. No two ways around that, my friends. So let me give an example. If you have an S&P 500 inside a 401k or a 403b and it's charging you 50 basis points, I'm going right down to your fund manager or whoever's in charge of that plan, and I'm saying, why are you charging your employees this kind of fee? Frankly, I don't see how that could be in DOL, Department of Labor compliance, the fiduciary rule. I just don't see, because S&P 500 stock fund on average is probably charging 10 bips. You're charging 50 bips for doing no more management, no more work than what these guys are doing. I don't see how you can get away with that. Tons of hungry trial attorneys out there, class action attorneys, would love to find out about that right there, because they would sue. They'd sue the fund providers. They would sue the plan sponsor, and they would probably win. They say, tell me again why you're allowing these fund managers, Mr. Josh Inc., company CEO, to charge 50 basis points when he can go to Vanguard, Fidelity, and basically get it for free? And there is no answer for that. There's no answer, and they would lose. And so just as an FYI, if you have index funds inside your 401k and they're charging 50 basis points or more, I would be talking to your corporation, your fund sponsor, and say, yeah, we need to get rid of that, because there's absolutely no reason for that whatsoever. All right, so let's go into this. So we start in 1995 because we're using it for the first full year that the VASGX was incepted. It was incepted in 1994, but didn't have a full year then. Start in 1995. We put $100,000 in there. The first year is up about 37.45%. So we take $100,000 times 1.3745. Then we take 5% a year off, because remember, we're taking 5% a year off. It gives us income of $68.73. So we take that plus a return minus that, and that gives us an ending value of $130,000. So after we take our 5% off, after we have our income or our growth, we have $130,000 left. We take that $130,000, bring it over the next year. Do the same thing. I think the market was up 22% that year, so 130,000 times 1.22, it gives us a certain number. I forgot off the top of my head, but it doesn't matter. We take 5% off that guy, which is $8,023, and that gives us 152 as the end of the year balance, and then we just bring that over. All right, so we do that until 2000, and at the end of 1999, man, we are fat and happy. We're like, oh, look at that! I started with $100,000. I ended up with almost $300,000, and I got 26, 36, 40, $50,000 of income. I got $50,000 of income. I'm quitting my job. Tell my crappy old boss I'm out of here. And then the next year we start with 271. Market fell 9%. But we still had $12,000 of income. That's $1,000 a month, because 271,000 minus 9% times 5% of the income stream. That's pretty good. which leaves us 234,000. We're still like, yeah, that stinks, but hey, we'll take it because we had all those years. Oh boy, next year we start with 234. The market was down 11. Ooh, 195. Oh boy, next year the market's down 22%. Ah! So in 2002, we start 195. After we take our 5% off and the 22% it was down, we're down to 144. Ooh. 2003, and you can see. All right, so now what happens here? In 2005, the market was actually up 4.77. So why do I have red there, Josh? Well, we have red because we're taking 5% a year off. So our income fell from $9,757 to $9,711. Not much, but $46. Our portfolio fell by almost $1,000, even though the market grew but it didn't grow as much as the amount we're taking off. So it's still red. So we start that year at 184. All right, so now let's go to the end of 2007. We have $202,000 in there. We're taking about $850 a month off. We have, that's 5%. And then kaboom! We get hammered. Market was at 38% that year. 38%, so 202 minus 38 minus the 5% distribution rate, which only gives us $6,300 of income, and we're down to 121, my friends. That's big. So we are down to 121, and we only have $6,300 of income, which is 40% less than what we had before. So we're down to 121, but we stayed in there and we recuperated. So we keep going back. We got a little bit of a loss in 2011. We didn't even lose money. It's just the fact we took out more than the market gave us. And we keep coming around until we end 2016 with $234,000. Everybody's worried about the Trumpster. And then we stayed in there, though. We said we were worried about Obama. We were worried about the Iraq War. We were worried about Clinton. We were worried about everything. Then 2016 came around. We stayed in the market. So we started the year with $2,034. Took 5% a year off, had a great market. We're back up to 271. So after all these years, 23 years to be precise, we start with $100,000. We saw some serious volatility. We were down at 144 at one point from 271. That's $130,000 that we're down, about 40% or so, 45%. We're down here another 45, about 45% from 202 to 121. Now remember, this doesn't include until March of 2003 is when the market finally came back. So we're not just talking at the end of the year all was good. It was still bad for 3 more months. It was still bad until March of 2009 as well. In fact, that would even be worse than 121 when you factor in the market that started in 2009. It was not a pleasant surprise or pleasant situation. But anyway, we hung in there. We hung in there. So we had some volatility. Went from 271 to 144 to 202 to 121 and back up to 271. So we've had some pretty significant growth over those 23 years. We took off an average. We had $233,000 of total income. So $100,000 gave us $233,000 of total income. And we've almost tripled the amount of our portfolio from $100,000 in 1995 to $271 in 2017. And then our average income we had was $10,138. That's what we've averaged over the course of that time, which is, again, about 20% higher. Let's see. Hold on just a second. So when our average income is $10,138 in this. If we were to annuitize it each and every year, like I was showing you before, where you have $100,000 and every year it goes above $100,000, you take that amount above $100,000 and annuitize it. Our average income there was only $7,590. So we have basically a 25 to 30% increase in income on this fund right here. And then if you look at VASGX, when you have the 25% or the VASGX at 5% a year, we were left with $194,000 compared to $271,000. I mean, 190. Well, I'll do another video on that. That'll be a good one to start with to end the series on. So, I'll do a video to wrap that up too. So, I hope you like this. Don't forget to subscribe. Stay tuned for the next video when I just do a comparison side by side. I think you'll get a lot out of that. All right, thanks, guys. See you.